Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we'll be continuing our coverage of Shenmue, playing until we learn how to drive a forklift. But before we get started, how was everyone's week?
Man, it's the end of the year, and I'm shutting down.
Yeah.
I can't do shit. It's over until January. And that might make it sound like I'm off work. I'm not off work. I still gotta function enough to do work. But I just
it's not
happening.
Yeah. It's not about like your responsibilities. It's about what your brain is physically capable of.
Yeah. So I don't have anything to talk about because I haven't done anything.
So I actually have something. Working at the library the way I do, I sometimes feel a little bit like, wow, everyone else here is like their own established niche, and I feel kind of left out in like, what am I, like, what's my, like, I just am doing my basic job description. It would be cool. Like, the other person is literally my same circulation assistant position. She is also like an arts and crafts person. And I can't help out with that because, fun fact about your girl Trish, I can't art nor craft to save my goddamn life. So I've been very like, it would be really nice if there's a thing I could do here at the library that was like a me thing. And then like poking around and prodding at that idea with my supervisor, we realized like, I could do book reviews because we do have a library newsletter and we do have book reviews in there. But up to this point, it has just been our reference librarian pulling random reviews off the internet.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that's a thing that we're going to try out. I've already written like 6, and we're going to try. I submitted 3 for specifically being used. When I say a book review, I should be clear. These are all like blurbs. These are 1-paragraph reviews. But, you know, I still have that experience and capability. I specifically like went into learning. I went into like doing critical analysis sort of stuff, both schooling wise and just as a hobby in my free time, a lot, most of my life. So it hasn't been super hard. It's been a fun thing to do. And now when I read books at the desk, not only can I be doing that because it's a fucking library, this isn't a goddamn department store where we should have a expectation that we should always be looking busy. No one's going to come into a library and be annoyed that the person behind the desk is reading a fucking book. But also now I can be doing that and being like, oh, I'm preparing. I'm gonna, write a review in the newsletter for this. Like, this is important. So yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, at one point when I was at the theater, they asked me to make the newsletter, and I had too much fun with it, and they told me to stop making the newsletter, and other people should do it.
Those people, they were wrong. How dare they?
Yeah, because like I would phrase things as if they were way more interesting than they were. Like one time, one of the bulbs in the projectors exploded, and so I wrote it as if the manager who replaced it saved everyone, like it was a superhero story or something. And
that sort of sounds like lying.
It wasn't. I made sure to never lie, but just
you're fluffing it up a little bit.
Yeah, describe things in stupid ways that nobody would describe it so that it's more interesting to read. Because otherwise the newsletter would be like, the projector bulb exploded and Nathan replaced it, the end. And that's not nearly as fun. But yeah, it was fun for me while it lasted. As for what I've been up to this week, I've been making a lot of crafts because Christmas is soon. And something happened on the 15th, which is something I've not experienced as a grown-up in a very long time at the very least. But me and Jinx were at the store, and I get paid on the 15th and on the last day of the month. And so we were on the 15th, and I go to make a $20 purchase at the store, and my card declines. And I look, and my entire paycheck was already spent. And it was on payday, and that was horrid. What had happened, I think, is on my last check, I had advanced money off of it, but I was past the we're not going to take it from you this week, we're going to take it from you on the next check thing, and I didn't realize it, and so it was just a bunch of advances coming through all at once, and so I think that's all that it was, but it still was insane to be like, oh yeah, let me spend $20 on payday, and then 100% of my paycheck was gone. But besides that, I watched Knives Out 3, and it rules.
It's so fucking good.
Apparently there's discourse about it, and I'm so glad I'm not on social media so I can just enjoy things.
Oh, I haven't seen any discourse about it on. I only follow people with good taste that aligns with my own taste because it's good taste.
Yeah, I
don't follow people with bad taste or taste that does not align with my taste because that taste is bad taste if it doesn't align with my taste.
That's very smart. But I only know that discourse exists because there was a like recorded conversation about it that made it onto Aftermath, and it was in the newsletter as like an important thing that happened this week. And I'm like,
dear.
Oh, no idea the context or anything. I just know it was like, oh, in our conversation about Wake Up Dead Man, and I'm like, well, you only have a conversation about it if there's something to say.
So all you're saying, all you're communicating to us is that at some point, more than one person engaged in conversation about Wake Up Dead Man.
Yeah.
And it was recorded.
The comment,
and this has upset you.
The comment that it had talked about, because this was in the like comments of the week section of their newsletter. The comment was like, y'all both raised some pretty good points, which you wouldn't say if they were just like, this movie fucking rules. So I'm not sure what the points are because I did not click onto it because I don't want to know. But there's something about it. But I
can immediately think of two specific avenues with that film, wherein there can be some heavy disagreement, without getting into what the movie's fucking about. On the one hand, I'm sure there's some disagreement on how it handles religion.
That's what I'm guessing it's probably about.
Looking at my fellow atheists out there, some of y'all cannot be normal about other people having faith, and it's honestly really weird.
A lot of atheists are like that.
Yeah, I hate to be associated with them. And the other angle I can think of is there's some leftists who are less. I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this that isn't just fucking mean. There are some leftists out there who are very militant in their ideas of leftism in a way that they sacrifice ideals of, the inherent life of a human being, and that we should be kind to each other, and therefore disagree heavily with this movie's point. To which I say, I'm really sorry, and I hope your life gets better.
Yeah, that's yeah. There was so much as a formerly religious person and a person who, before I deleted my Facebook, my religion section was wild stallions, be excellent to each other. I agreed a lot with the religious characters and also with the non-religious characters in the movie a lot. It like every part of it was hitting home very, very strongly, and it was awesome. And the thing with Knives Out is the first one is like, oh hey, here's a detective story, except you didn't see that coming, did you? Isn't that a cool twist? And then in the second one, they're like, aha, we did it again, and somehow it still wasn't what you were expecting. And now he's just showing off.
100%. 100%.
What I find really neat about them, and, I'm not thoroughly versed in detective fiction. I just have a sort of cursory knowledge of it. But, a lot of the big hits, the Sherlock Holmes, the Hercule Poirot stories I've read and stuff, the main character isn't someone deeply involved in the mystery. It's either usually what I see and what I've read and watched and stuff, it's like the detective or the detective's buddy or some other person who's sort of outside what's going on. But in all three of these films, like the main character has not been Benoit Blanc or somebody who's outside the mystery to some extent. It's always someone deeply involved. I
Yeah.
think that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Feel free to comment all the hundreds of detective stories that do that I'm just not aware of because I'm ignorant.
Well, and
Yeah,
it's like it's also specifically using that sort of like Benoit Blanc is helping, but not the actual true main character of any of these stories premise that allows the stories to each have their own really strong thematic cores that are all very different from each other, and to still have this very central feeling that passes from movie to film, from movie to movie, of just feeling like it is this evolving idea of the shit that we grapple with every couple of years as each of these movies comes out. Like, what are we currently fucking dealing with?
Yeah.
The first movie is liberals that we know voted for Trump.
Yes.
The second one is people being obsessed with tech billionaires who they think are geniuses. And this one is just, how do you believe people are good and also interact with certain kinds of people?
Yes. It was fantastic. Big recommend. The other thing that I did shortly after finishing that is I needed something to put on that I didn't have to pay too much attention to because I'm cross-stitching to finish a present by Christmas. So I put on the new Librarian show that came out this year, and it's not as good as the 2014. The 2014 just it flash in the pan somehow, just everything worked out perfectly right, but it's not bad. And the two main girls on it are very pretty and very in love, and it's been a really good time, and I recommend it if you like camp. It's a good time. The whole series is basically American Doctor Who, but instead of a time traveler, he's just a librarian, and it's very good. It's funny that it's has the reputation of being an American Doctor Who because the main librarian's theme is very much the 11th Doctor's theme, like almost no changes whatsoever. And so they get to the part of the episode where, oh, look, the librarian's doing some librarian ass shit. And then the music comes in like bum, 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 bum. And I'm like, that, you can't do that. That's illegal. but, but yeah,
Until
it's
you
very,
messaged
very good.
today, I don't think I'd ever heard of the Librarians.
Yeah, they are really good. So the first three movies are fine. The first movie I really
talked to me about this. You did tell me about this, and then my brain erased it.
Yeah, the first three movies are fine. I can see them being the cult classics that they were. Then the 2014 television show is perfect, no notes, and the new one's pretty good. So yeah, I've been enjoying that. I'm almost completely done with the first season, and the setup of this new one is weird, but interesting. So instead of following the librarian, capital T, capital L, like they normally do, this one is a librarian that is time displaced. He is facing this bad guy back in the day, and he throws down an artifact that creates a time bubble, but he has his arm out of the time bubble. He's like, you're going to be stuck here forever, but my partner is going to pull me out. And then his partner runs up and gets shot. So then he's just stuck in the time bubble until in the modern day someone pulls him out. And because he's not the librarian currently, he doesn't have like access to all of the things, but he screws some stuff up royally in the first episode, and so it's his job to fix it. And so it's like slightly different from the other ones and much more like scrappy, and I like it. It's pretty good.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. The other thing I did this week is I played a shitload of Shenmue.
Ryo heads home to search the Hazuki residence for the Phoenix Mirror. He runs into Fukusan, who admits that he told Ine-san everything he knows about Ryo's sketchy activities. Ryo is like, okay, whatever, classic Fukusan. Do you know anything about the Phoenix Mirror? But of course he doesn't. Ryo then runs into Ine-san, who overheard their conversation. She says that not long ago, Hazuki-sensei went to an antique shop to store something important. Ryo heads to the local antique shop, but on the way he's stopped by Guizhong. They fight for a bit because Ryo's like, oh, you're working for Landi now. And Guizhong is just like, ugh. And I'm like, why did you jump to that conclusion? And Guizhong, why are you so weird? But so anyway, they fight for a bit just for fun. And then Guizhong says if he continues, he'll fail as Ryo's bodyguard. You see, Master Chen told Guizhong to guard Ryo because if he doesn't live, it'll be a problem. If Landi gets that mirror, no one can stop him. Hurry and find that mirror before they suspect anything. All right, we're going to do that. But someone's eavesdropping on the roof. It's Gollum from The Lord of the Rings.
Laughing and it's not coming over the mic, but I'm laughing my ass off at that. Because he is.
He talks to himself about Landi-sama, then exits undetected while Ryo continues to the antique shop. The old man who runs the shop recognizes Ryo and fetches the thing Hazuki-sensei left behind. It's a sword handguard designed after the Hazuki family crest. And it's like a little stone or metal disc with some holes in it, and everyone instantly recognizes it as a sword handguard, but to me it looks like it could be anything. I don't know if that's just me.
I won't say it's just you, but I do think it looks like a sword handguard. I did look at that and was like, oh, you put a sword on that.
It just looked like a decorative item to me. The old man says it's an heirloom given to the Hazuki heirs once they turn 18. He tells Ryo to let him know if he ever needs anything because Hazuki-sensei was always there for him. Ryo asks about the Phoenix Mirror, but the old man does not know about it. So Ryo goes back to the Hazuki residence to investigate and eventually finds 2 hidden Resident Evil puzzle slots in the dojo wall. One takes the handguard and the other takes a sword that's over there. When both are inserted, a passage is revealed. Ryo follows it to the basement, and after lighting up the basement with a bunch of candles or just buying a light bulb, because it turns out the convenience store sells light bulbs and you can just buy one instead of looking all around for candles and shit. Anyway, after that, Ryo takes a look around. Ryo finds a box hidden in the wall. Inside is the Phoenix Mirror. Hell yeah. Ryo can optionally show the mirror to some people around town and get some lore about the dragon and Phoenix being guardians and stuff, but the Phoenix Mirror is supposed to be a secret, so let's not do that.
I know, the fact that you're able to do that is just like, it's very, like, this game is very high interactivity, if that makes sense. Like, if you can do something, the game wants you to be able to give it a shot, even when you're like, but that would be stupid of me. Why would I do that?
Yeah, I just like accidentally, I forget why I went up and talked to one of the people and Ryo's just like, hey, what can you tell me about this? And it shows them the mirror and I'm like, my dude.
Did you not remember that we're not supposed to show anyone that?
Organized crime people are after that, so, you know, making someone aware of it could put them in danger.
To be, I guess, fair, Ryu does seem like he would just forget. I don't want to say I think Ryu is just flat out dumb, but like I do distinctly feel like he could just completely forget things are supposed to be secret or what a thing is.
Well, like I said last week, I can't get a read on him.
That's fair.
So I'm not sure.
I think my feelings are maybe a little biased by the voice acting.
Well, anyway, Ryo heads back to the warehouse to show Master Chen the mirror. Ryo asks why Landi only took the dragon mirror. Master Chen says he probably didn't realize Hazuki-sensei had both. Long ago, Zhu Yanda told him that when the dragon and the phoenix meet, the gates of heaven and earth will open, and Chi-Yo, a world-devouring monster of Chinese legend, will resurrect itself on Earth. That sounds bad.
I don't like that. We should not let that happen.
Yeah, we've got to make sure Landi doesn't get the mirror. But then Gollum from the Lord of the Rings appears out of fucking nowhere.
Truly, this man teleports into this scene.
He grabs the mirror, but Ryo does a QuickTime event to make him drop it. Gollum from the Lord of the Rings leaves empty-handed, I guess because he's outnumbered and surprise isn't on his side anymore. Master Chen and Guizhong speculate about Gollum from the Lord of the Rings being connected to a local gang called the Mad Angels, or to the Chiyo Men, or to both. Perhaps the Mad Angels are the ones who led Lan Di here. Ryo's like, hell yeah, I'll find the Mad Angels and that'll lead me to Lan Di. Master Chen says Lan Di has probably already left for Hong Kong. Ryo's like, cool, please help me get to Hong Kong so I can avenge my father's murder. Guizhong tells Ryo to not do something so stupid, and Ryo's like, well, if your father were murdered, wouldn't you do something so stupid? Master Chen refuses to help and tells Ryo to not waste his life on revenge.
You don't know! Your father wasn't murdered!
Yeah. During all this, if we've played our cards right, we might get a scene where Nozomi confesses her feelings for Ryo. I didn't get this scene, but it was in the long play I took notes from, and it feels important. And
I agree.
I feel like Nozomi does need to be present in the story.
Yeah.
She says she has to leave for Canada soon to be with her parents, so she had to tell Ryo how she feels before she leaves. Ryo says some nonsense about how, right now, he doesn't know what his feelings are. But since he did recently watch his father get murdered, I'll give him a pass on being weird about feelings and stuff right now. He's going through some shit. But he tells Nozomi to not forget to say goodbye before she leaves. Also during all this, Ryo starts having dreams where we see the mirrors and a hawk and the girl from the box art. But anyway, Ryo checks his savings and finds he only has about 40,000 yen. How's he gonna get to Hong Kong? Ryo asks Fukusan if he knows any cheap travel agencies so he can go to Hong Kong and kill Lan Di. They could ask Ine-san for money for the trip, and for this to make sense, I'm going to assume that maybe Ine-san is managing Hazuki-sensei's estate because Ryo is still a kid. I think that works.
Yeah,
I'll
that's what I
buy
think it is.
Yeah, but surely she won't be down for a revenge mission, which will surely end in Ryo's death. Ryo says he'll persuade her, and Fukusan says he'll totally help. They go to Ine-san, who actually likes the idea of Ryo taking a vacation, until Fukusan says, specifically, Ryo wants to go to Hong Kong so he can track down the man who killed Hazuki-sensei and get himself killed too. Ine-san's like, fuck that, and Ryo's like, god damn it, Fukusan. Ryo's still got to figure out a way to get to Hong Kong, so he goes to a travel agency. The agent says the trip will be a cool 220,000 yen. That's too much. Ryo reconvenes with Fukusan, who gives Ryo the piggy bank containing his entire life savings. Ryo's like, I couldn't possibly, okay, sure. There's about another 40,000 yen there, but that's still nowhere near enough. After a bit more going about, Ryo hears he might be able to get a cheap boat ticket at Asia Travel Company, though Asia Travel Company is a shady business. Ryo heads there, and the agent, who is proverbially on her damn phone, she's not actually on her damn phone because cell phones haven't been invented yet, but she's on her damn phone. Anyway, she's like, yeah, whatever, we can get you on a boat to Hong Kong, give me 69,000 yen and come back in 4 hours. Ryo gives her the 69,000 yen in cash and doesn't even get a receipt or anything.
I don't think he's the smartest martial artist in town.
No, he's choosing his college based on if they have karate. We've established that. So yeah, Ryo returns 4 hours later, and the lady from before has been replaced by some punks who play dumb. Ryo asks what kind of scam they're running, and they act like they're gonna rough him up, but he roughs them up instead, and the head punk, Jimmy, promises to sort this out and call Ryo first thing tomorrow. Ryo's like, okay.
Learning nothing!
The next morning, Jimmy calls and tells Ryo to come to the arcade rather than to the Asia Travel Company office for his ticket, and Ryo does not suspect a thing. Ryo goes to the arcade. It's dark and empty, except for Gollum from the Lord of the Rings.
Oh no!
He has Ryo's ticket. He eats it. What the hell? Ryo asks him if he works for Lan Di, and he says, that's my dream. Tell me everything you know about Zhu Yanda so I can inform Lan Di and be rewarded. Ryo refuses to tell him anything, and to be honest, I don't think he actually knows anything about Zhu Yanda anyway.
No.
Now, Ryo fights Gollum from The Lord of the Rings. It's really tough. We're pretty much not supposed to win, I'm pretty sure. If we lose, Ryo gets knocked out and Fukusan shows up and Gollum from the Lord of the Rings runs off. Fukusan takes Ryo back home so he can rest up, and then we continue our investigation the next day. If we win, Gollum from the Lord of the Rings just runs off and Ryo pursues, asking people if they've seen Gollum from the Lord of the Rings around here until he finds his way back to Asia Travel Company. When Jimmy sees Ryo, he runs off and we have a long chase sequence full of QTEs. Ryo catches Jimmy, who says an employee ran off with the money. Please don't hurt me. I have a wife and kids. Here, take this ticket to the Philippines. I'm broke. I'm skipping town. I'm just a little birthday boy. Don't hurt me.
I got glasses on. You wouldn't think I have glasses, would you?
Ryo twists Jimmy's arm until he admits that Gollum from the Lord of the Rings is a member of the Mad Angels, and Ryo might be able to find the Mad Angels if he worked at the harbor, because they always harass the new workers.
I hear that's where sailors go.
Ryo heads to the harbor and asks around, but it seems like no one is hiring. Eventually, he runs into who else but Goro. We all remember Goro. He's a pompadoured punk who attempted to mug a guy until Ryo intervened. I did not mention the scene he was in last week because it was so unimportant, and I was sure this wasn't going to end up being a recurring character.
Well, don't you feel foolish?
I do. I hate to not set something up that needs to be set up for later.
Yeah.
But Goro is a really weird attempt at a comic relief character. But he says he can get Ryo a job. There's a lot of moments we can talk about in memorable moments if they were in fact memorable, but basically Ryo gets a job working for a guy named Yada-san. A guy named Mark trains Ryo on how to move crates with a forklift. And wow, in a game filled with people who talk weird, Mark talks so extremely normal that it's fucking disturbing. It weirds me out how normal this guy is. Ryo completes his training, and Mark tells him to arrive early tomorrow because there's something they need to do before work. How mysterious. Could this be a trap? Could Mark be working for the Mad Angels? Is his aggressively normal coworker demeanor a front? Surely he's not calling us in early for something extremely stupid. We'll find out next week.
But for now, let's talk about our memorable moments.
So, my understanding of the situation was that, like, Jimmy, has connections with the Mad Angels, and so instead of giving Ryo a ticket, Gollum from the Lord of the Rings was going to rough him up and stuff. So, why was there actually a ticket for Gollum from the Lord of the Rings to eat?
Man,
Was that just a snack?
Question. I actively was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Or, no, actually, no, it still doesn't make sense. Because I was like, because when you get back, he's like, oh, I don't actually have the ticket. And Rio's just like, print a new one. And he's like, I can't do that. I was like, was there something there? But there still would be no reason for Gollum to have the ticket. Like,
maybe Jimmy was like, okay, I'll get this ticket for Ryo. I've got this ticket. And then Gollum from the Lord of the Rings is like, oh, no, we're not going to let him go to Hong Kong because I'm going to fucking kill him. Give me that ticket so I can eat it in front of him.
Goro. He's Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Goro from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
I need the first Lord of the Rings with fucking Street Fighter characters in it. So,
wait, is there a Street Fighter character named Goro?
Isn't there? Or is that Mortal Kombat? That's Mortal Kombat. I get them confused. I never really played either.
Okay, yeah, Goro is Mortal Kombat. Well, I knew there was a character in Mortal Kombat named Goro, but there are so many Street Fighter characters.
You never know.
And Goro's just a name, so I was like, it's quite possible there's a Street Fighter Goro as well. But a Goro from Mortal Kombat would fit in Lord of the Rings among the orcs and stuff. I feel like that would work.
So,
Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
It's
We should probably talk about Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
He's a character.
what more can I say?
Every character in this game is like off-putting in really like mundane ways. Like a lot of characters in this game, their vibe is like if you're watching a J-drama and they're just like some dudes. Like they're more exaggerated than a real person, but they're also like a solid like 4 out of 10 on the exaggerated scale.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gollum from Lord of the Rings appears, who's just a fucking anime character.
We have not learned this person's name yet, so we do have to refer to him as Gollum from the Lord of the Rings because that's the most accurate analogy.
Yeah. When he's first revealed, where Rio's in like on his street, I forget what he's doing, but that's when Gollum from Lord of the Rings realizes he has the mirror, and it reveals him on the roof. I'm like, what the fuck is this game? Everything up until then had been like, oh, is this like super natural in the way that like martial arts people are very into like the spirituality of it? When is it, or is it actually like anime shit? And then there's Gollum from Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, this mirror lets you shoot lasers. Anything can fucking happen now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I look at it.
Yeah, Gollum from the Lord of the Rings' presence makes it seem like maybe Landy does really want to resurrect a demon.
Yeah. Oh, I love that the girl from the cover is finally in this game, and by in this game I mean she still doesn't have any lines. It just shows her and then shows a bird.
Like, wait, there she is! Get her!
She's still just in dreams, not doing or saying anything.
Mm-hmm. So, how late in December and or January are you guys at this point?
I don't remember. Partly because at this point in the game you get some points where like you get warped back home, and then when you're doing work you get warped to work, just like in real life. So since I'm not going around, I'm not like keeping track of when it's Christmas and stuff.
Yeah, I got to Christmas right before the end, and Christmas has a special Rio waking up animation.
I was gonna bring up the Christmas scene, but go ahead.
Oh, is there more than a scene? Because all I found was a special waking up, and then I tried to initiate Christmas anywhere, and it didn't work.
So it wasn't at Christmas. It was there's a cute scene between Rio and Nozomi that's like it was I that happened. Maybe this is the one you were talking about in your notes. For me, this happened right around Christmas, and so my brain was like, and it felt like I feel like they referenced Christmas in the scene. So I was like, oh, so this is time dependent, not storyline dependent. But maybe my brain was wrong. I don't know. But it was like her talking about just being like, hey, it seems like you've been really fucking distant lately, and it would be great if you could spend some time with me and pay attention to me, because, like, who knows how long we'll be able to actually spend time together.
I mean, there are a number of scenes with Nozomi, and they all sort of boil down to that. So
yeah, that's not the most helpful thing. This game is silly as fuck.
Yeah,
this game is Goof Troop.
So this game famously controls like ass.
Oh yeah,
driving the forklift is so smooth and nice, and you can tell that this development team has made really good car games, because the forklift is a joy to drive around, and Rio is not a joy to move.
to drive. I feel like driving around also describes Rio. It's just he controls like a snowplow.
So, I was looking up stuff about Gollum from the Lord of the Rings, and I happened to stumble upon a Reddit thread, the first one that comes up if you're looking for how to beat him in the arcade fight, because I wanted to look up, is that actually possible? And so this person was like, man, I'm trying to beat Gollum from the Lord of the Rings in the arcade, and it's so hard. What do I do? And the top rated comment is, it's fairly easy. You just can't let him get the best of you. Dodge and attack. Dodge and attack.
There's truly nothing like reaching a point in a video game where you're just like at your fucking wit's end and you decide to dive into the pool of the internet and swim around and see if you can find literally any help. And the only help you find is people going, well, this is easy. Why would you need help with this?
Just don't let him get the best of you.
Just don't let him get the best of you. Iconic.
Yeah, when I was fighting him, I haven't been safe scumming the whole game because at least on the Retro Pocket G2, if you you only can load a state once, and because after you try to load it the second time, it crashes. I don't know what that's about, but it's annoying to do it. But I was like, I want to beat Gollum from Lord of the Rings. I want to engage with the combat in this game, and so I can do it. And I got from the antique shop, I got the in Street Fighter, it's Ken's down strong kick where he just does a little spinny and it knocks the feet out from under him. I got that move, and it's hard to do with the buttons, but you can put a move on a shortcut for the trigger. So I just put that on the trigger, and I cheated. I cheated hard. Gollum never saw it coming. I just kept knocking him over with that kick. It was so good.
He never saw it coming.
Yeah, there were other comments in that thread that were like, spam this specific move, spam this specific move. But the comment I read, y'all, was the highest voted comment.
Just don't let him get the best of you. Dodge and attack. Dodge and attack. I should go and make a boss fac for Dark Souls, and that's just what I say for every single boss.
Well, I mean, that's not far off for Dark Souls, honestly. I really don't know how I feel about what Gollum from the Lord of the Rings brings to the table. I liked this game's vibe when it was more naturalistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will be honest with the reveal that like the little hints of like yeah, this spear's gonna shoot laser beams. I'm a little sad. I was kind of liking this being a more down to earth, reasonable sort of karate martial arts story. And I'm a little sad that it might not be going in that direction, but also I can adapt. It's fine.
It just turns out these are the Millennium items, and we've got to collect them before Pegasus. We've got to challenge Londi-sama to a duel.
So I just realized something, and it seems to be a truism in video games. If you say, we're only going to make one of these, you will end up making 16 and counting and a bunch of side content, because that's Final Fantasy. But if you say, this is going to be precisely 5 or 6 episodes long, you will never be able to finish it, because Xenogears was never finished, and now Shenmue will probably never be finished.
I believe Shenmue is specifically supposed to be something like what is it, like 16 chapters, but Shenmue 1 is just chapter 1. This is just me remembering things I've read online. Chapter 2 is a manga, and then Shenmue 2 covers chapters 3 through 6.
Okay.
But apparently I'm now looking at something that says that they've revised it to be 11 chapters or something. I don't know. Point is, it's a lot of chapters.
This is just making me think of fucking A Song of Ice and Fire. And y'all, I can't do that again.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's more stand-in in Yu Suzuki's way than there is George R.R. Martin's way.
Mm-hmm.
I won't disagree.
I don't want to say just fucking write the books, but Yu Suzuki does have to make whole-ass video games with whole-ass teams, and no one wants to fund them, famously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
I mean,
mean,
the
the
first two
same is
cost.
effectively true with George R. R. Martin, but no one's asking him to make those video games. In fact, many people are plaintively asking him to not make these video games.
Yeah. So, I didn't mention Mai, who is a character who has some side content related to her. She's the one who actually got Ryo a job, and there's this whole scene about Goro being sexist,
Mm-hmm.
and Mai, he calls him a geek. Um, it's not very funny.
Mm-mm.
No.
I know next week we will all learn our way around the harbor a lot, but up until this point, do y'all have any fucking idea where you're going in this harbor ever at all?
No.
I
I
can't.
find it a little hard to navigate, but I mean the floor does the ground does have painted on it like warehouses 1 through whatever this way and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's not impossible to navigate, but it is a little annoying.
Yeah, if you're on the back half where it doesn't have those numbers, it kind of sucks. But if you can just keep wandering until you can find the numbers, it gets pretty simple. But that first time where you were over there, it took me forever to find what I was supposed to be doing, and I kept doing the most frustrating thing in the world, where like after I beat Gollum from Lord of the Rings, I run over to the harbor and I figure out what I'm supposed to do, and it's like, oh, go and talk to the punk kid that's always out in front of the thing up until 2 p.m. and it was 3:30 p.m. So then I go back the next day to talk to him, and he's like, oh, come back tomorrow and you'll have a job. And I just kept having to waste like an entire day with nothing to do. And there was one point where I couldn't like find side content to engage in, so I just stood in front of where I knew he was going to be and put on fast forward on the emulator and just waited. I kept being horribly timed with all of the time gated content this week.
I also ran into that, and I feel like that's kind of inevitable in some ways with this kind of game.
Also, I feel like it emulates the feeling of job hunting, what you've described.
Yeah.
Being unemployed and trying to find a job feels like that.
When I was looking to see who I was supposed to be talking to, I had looked up a guide, and on the guide it was like, oh, if you're someone on December 14th or whatever, that means that you have blah 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 blah, as in the earliest you can get here is December 14th. And I'm like, it's New Year's tomorrow, guys. I'm 15 days off. I'm not doing very good at this game, but at least it's not April. I can't believe that April is when you've taken too long and you lose the game. That seems impossible to be that bad at the game, because I'm real bad and I'm only at New Year's. I like this video game and I am excited to play more of it.
It's pretty good.
A lot more of it.
I don't want to say there's nothing like it, because that's not true, but there is nothing with the exact quantities of what it has going on. It is it is unique in its combination of flavors, unless that is a singularly unique flavor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes me want to try and get better at Yakuza combat so I can play all the Yakuzas, because that has very similar flavors to this.
Yeah, it's in some ways, Yakuza feels very much like a spiritual successor to Shenmue. In some ways, it very much doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I feel like everyone who plays both sees a connection, and I can't argue against that.
So come back next year when we do a long cast of every single Yakuza.
No,
Totally.
Actually, I want this podcast to force me to play at least one Yakuza game, but all of them is too much.
Okay, maybe we'll do a Yakuza 0, because being a prequel, it has a definitive beginning and end and won't require us to do all of them.
Also, Yakuza 0 fucking rules.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. I've heard. Yakuza fans are the type that they will happily tell you in depth about how great every game is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I say affectionately.
Anything else we need to say about Gollum from Lord of the Rings?
No.
Well, we said Goro from Mortal Kombat in Lord of the Rings.
Mm.
Maybe Goro Majima from Yakuza should also be in Lord of the Rings.
We should just collect all of the Goros, and so we could have Goro Akechi and Goro
Yeah.
from Mortal Kombat and Goro Majima and Goro from Shenmue, and they all can form a JRPG party. I think that's the game we should make.
Absolutely.
It's just oops, all Goros. But that will do it for the week. If you like what you heard today, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where any and all donations help us offset the cost of running the show. If you decide to donate $1 more a month, you'll become one of our gadabouts and also get access to our bonus feed filled with after shows for every episode, as well as bonus seasons of the show, such as Tales of Podcastia, The Escape Pod, and the JRPG Canon. And if you up your donation to $5 or more each month, you can become one of our warriors and get your name read at the end of every episode, a little like this. Shoutouts to Dragon Slayer 19, Freddie Rodriguez, and JFro Prime. And then if you really, really love us and you want to be a luminary, you can donate $20 or more a month and get a short one-sentence shoutout or advert read at the end of each episode, kind of like this. Shoutouts to Kildranas, who says to check out Podcasters Assemble. It's a documentary-style, crowdsourced movie hype and rewatch podcast. Every season, podcasters from around the world are assembled to review, reminisce, and riff on a popular franchise. And shoutouts to Vimke, who says, "You are not half as good with that sword as you think you are, Gideon Nav," said the Marshal of Deirdre. "And one day I'll flay you for disrespect. One day we will use your parts for paper. One day the sisters of the locked tomb will brush the os with your bristles. One day your obedient bones will dust all places you disdain, and make the stones there shine with your fat. There is a muster, Nav, and I command you to go." And then shouts to It's Claire Time, who says, "For you TTRPG nerds, check out Fabula Ultima. I'm not affiliated with the game, I just think it's neat." For RPG Book Club, I've been Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye-bye.